subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
All right, I'm Danielle White. Thank you all for watching Donnie Houston podcast. Today you'll be able to see that we are representing BB Moore Campbell Mental Health Awareness Month. So I hope y'all check it out.
So my name is Abe Turner, and I am here on the Donnie Houston podcast. We are talking about all things mental health. It is the BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month here in July, and join us while me and a fellow clinician, we talk about things that are impacting our community.
Yeah, man, it's going down. It's Donnie Houston podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out. We have two special guests. This month is it's BIPOC, which is basically, Black Mental Health Awareness Month, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and that's something that's very important to me. It's something I think that's very important in our community. You know what I'm saying? I think there's something we need to have more conversations about, and I got some people here that that's going to help me do that. So I want to introduce Danielle and Abe. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm all right. How y'all feeling?
I'm good.
We good.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So it's a BIPOC. Can y'all explain that?
So
clearly?
Yeah, so BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color. So that's everybody.
Yeah. Everybody in the realm for mental health.
No, I'm saying that okay, gotcha. I was gonna say the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah, under the umbrella of mental health.
For sure. So tell me about y'all's backgrounds, Just Danny, I didn't call you Danny already. Okay. I've already got specific instructions on what not to call her.
You more than welcome to call me Danny. But so for how I got into the field was actually back in high school. I was skipping school, and I skipped school to the courthouse because I really wanted to know what was going on with the Andrea Yates trial. Luckily, I knew the judge at the time, and I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. But I saw how medicated she was during that trial, and they kept talking about mental health. So that's where it tapped into, okay, well, how is this lady mentally, how could she perform this act by killing 5 of her children? And that just kind of cracked the door open, and I just kicked it wide open for me to continue on in this field. And I thought that after a while, there's a missing piece, especially with our community. We don't really talk and share about what's going on within ourselves, right? And so, me personally, I have an illness, been having it since the age of 15, and I knew what really helped me get through that illness was by telling everybody that I had this illness, and I saw how many people actually supported me with my autoimmune disease. So I wanted to continue to pass that on with everybody else in our community, let them know, hey, just share what's going on and not keep it bottled up because of the culture that we've been raised in of not sharing things. That's kind of why I got in.
So really for me, it was probably about 2016. I had moved here to Houston and started volunteering in the prison. And so when I started volunteering, I realized through that process that there was not any resources for, people that were incarcerated persons, people that may be soon to be released or paroled. And it concerned me because I was like, okay, well, where are the resources? I'm teaching a marketing course at this time. So I need to be able to refer my people out to do something. And so it led me down this path of pursuing forensic psychology, and really that's what got me into it. It was like, how do I, if there is nobody to serve in that space, then you have to serve in that space. So it kind of hit me. It was like, if not you, then who? And that was for me.
Man, you said something about it. Why is mental health like a taboo thing in our community? Why do y'all think so?
I think it's just how we were, just if you just go back all the way, I don't want to say go back to slavery, but if you think about it, if you go back all the way to slavery, in that culture, you couldn't really show your emotions. Regardless if your husband just got shipped off away to someone else, your wife just got raped you still had to go to work. You still had to act like nothing ever happened. So that just continued to be passed on, and in every generation thereafter. And so I think we just got accustomed to not sharing, not really expressing what's really going on within ourselves. And then mental health has then became church for a lot of our culture, right? Regardless of what religion it is, you go take it to God, you go pray about it versus actually having conversation with someone else.
Yeah. So, I think to add to that, really, you think about it's about saving face, because community, all you had was your the value that the community placed upon you and your family. So I can't really disclose that I'm struggling with anything mentally, because that could reduce the value that the community perceives of me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hide it. I'm going to, even if I have a family member that may be suffering with any type of disorder, they can't come out. They don't have friends. They're kind of locked away. And you see that happen throughout family units, family dynamics, year over year over year. And so after a while, it just kind of becomes, falls out of common, conversation. Like, okay, we're not even going to talk about it because it doesn't exist.
Man, how much does, because I have this theory of like, with a lot of us in our communities, because we come from like poverty-stricken communities, you know what I'm saying? Like, what roles does that play in like mental health, or does that play a role? Is there a connection between like coming up in poverty-stricken communities and mental health?
Absolutely. I mean, you think about, and we hear the term, I'll use the term like, PTSD, and so a lot of times that comes up with the impact of trauma, be it if it's primary or secondary. And a lot of that has to do with environmental conditioning. So whether you experience it directly, whether you had somebody, a friend, family, or cousin experience it, and you still feel that. And so a lot of that has to do, those are those kind of what I call the invisible wounds. Because with mental health, you can see somebody with a gash on their arm or a busted kneecap, but you can't see somebody when they have that invisible wound, or they have a slice on the inside of them that can nobody see. That they're having to deal with every single day, every time they wake up, every time that they look in the mirror. That is who they see, and they see this flawed individual. So when you think about those communities, especially when you think about not having the access to basic resources, basic necessities, like all those things matter. Because if I don't have safety and security and housing, if I'm always in this constant state of fight or flight, hypervigilance, then that trumps anything that I'm going to have to deal with mentally, until I can resolve those issues.
Absolutely. And if you also think about it from a standpoint of, if you grew up in a poor community, does that family giver know exactly where to take you? They have their own mental health that they're going through, right? So if they're depressed and then now you come in with your problems, they're not worried about your problems, right? And so you just continue on with this process of still go to work, still act like nothing ever happened, continue walking around with that face that everything continue to move forward with it. And so you have the next generation continues to go on and never acknowledge that something happened to me, something's wrong with me, I'm a little bit different, because there is no resources, right? And then if there is a resource, how am I get there? Who's gonna take me? Now my mom have to take off from work to take me to go to this appointment? Probably not. But I'm acting out in a behavioral, aspect of it. So now you diagnosed me with ADHD and put me on medication. So when it comes to that, that's what had really transpired a lot with our culture. There has been behaviors with a lot of individuals in our community, and they've just been thrown a diagnosis versus treating the symptom and figuring out why this person is behaving the way that they're behaving, and it just continue to be ignored over and over again, and then they grow up to be adults, and then you see what that leads to.
And you think about too, we talk about like genetics, like we talk about stuff being passed down. We talk about the physiological stuff. We talk about, oh, you look like your mom, you like your dad, you like great granny, whatever. But we don't talk about those behavioral things that get passed down, because if you had a mother or father or sibling or grandfather that had severe depression or anxiety or whatever the diagnosis may be, that is going to be passed down. Like there's so many diagnoses that have these genetic linkages that when you start asking, particularly when in a clinical setting, I'm asking that question, talk to me about your family. What psychological conditions happened in your family, because it didn't just show up with you. This is something that has been passed down through generation.
Absolutely.
Man, that is some real ass shit, bro. Like that is very real. Like you said, you can inherit that as well. You know what I'm saying? Those emotional and that mental shit as well. Just as much as you can be 6 feet tall because your daddy's 6 feet tall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do we? Because this is one thing I want to do is like, how do we normalize these conversations, and like, or what do y'all think are like ways that we can like open this up to? Because right now, I mean, this day and time is kind of becoming a thing. It's more conversations about it, but it's still people that's kind of like, I've asked people like, hey man, what you think about therapy? Or what you think about such and such? Like, oh no man, I ain't doing that. How do we make this thing like cool, I guess, in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
So I put it like this: some people that you hang out with may never walk and have a conversation with he or I, right? But they'll have a conversation with you, and you take whatever it is that you know about, acknowledging that something's wrong with my homeboy or my homegirl, and I'm going to have a conversation with that person. And when you get to that standpoint, they're like, I can't go beyond because of whatever problem, then you open that door and let them know, and let me introduce you to somebody. Because a lot of times when it comes to our culture, we do have that, no, I don't want nobody else in my business. I don't want to talk about XYZ. But if I can just be that middle person, you can be that middle person to talk to a community that may not ever touch it. Right? So I kind of compare it to church. Some people may never walk in the door as a church, but they'll be able to talk to their homeboy or homegirl. To do the same thing when it comes to therapy. They may never look at us and be like, I don't want to talk to them. Right. They just textbook people. I don't want to talk to them. But they'll have a conversation with you all day long. They'll listen to your podcast all day long. You have a platform. That's
why I have y'all here, and that's what I want to kind of do. But I want to just make sure I'm properly educated and properly prepared to be in
You're
that
doing it. And to be honest with you, it's that basic question: how you doing?
Yep.
Now everyone has the American way of responding. I'm fine. Right?
Yep.
But then, after you go past that basic, response, truly, how are you doing? How was your day? Could you answer that for me? Answer it, Donnie.
How's my day? My day was cool.
Was you stressed out in any kind of way?
Today?
Anything bothering you?
Not today, no.
And that's all you have to do is have a conversation with your friends. Ask them truly, because most likely, because that's how we were raised. Good morning, how you doing? We really don't care when we ask that question to people. Right? We just kind of going by the flow, but you never know. Someone may be truly battling something in that moment, and you could be the person to introduce them to therapy, introduce them to someone who possibly can help them go into the pathway that they need to be on. But you're already doing it. So I think you're already preparing to allow for our community to feel comfortable.
As a male, how do you deal with male clients? Have you been able to I guess convert people in a sense, if there's a way, somebody may have come in or maybe they've been uninterested, or how does that work? You know what I mean? How's that conversion work? Or have you been able to do that?
I think it's a beautiful thing when it happens, right? So yes, I would say yes, I have. Initially, everybody comes to therapy, by their own path. Sometimes they're forced to go to therapy, mandated by whatever court proceeding that's out there. Sometimes they're forced to go to therapy because marital concerns or spousal issues or partner concerns. Sometimes they just, I'm going to try it out. I really don't think it's going to work for me. Mm-hmm. But what I always tell clients is I already know every client that I meet is already on a pathway from point A to point B. My job as a clinician is just purely to hold space for you and give you tools to make that pathway as light as possible and as passable as possible, so that when you get to point B, you are still as whole as you can be. But I think that when you think about men, there's always a skepticism, particularly when it comes to black men. Hey, well, I don't need to see a therapist. I'm not crazy. What you mean? That's not the purpose. That's not really the calling of being being a therapist. We're here to hold space for you because you're processing life. Life is coming at you all different kinds of ways. So bringing your stuff to someone that is bound to confidentiality, because we can't tell nobody, even our closest friends.
Ain't say nothing.
Because mom's the word. That is what it is. So it's you're bringing that to somewhere where it's a vault, and we're not judging. We're looking at you. We're approaching you from a place of neutrality, so we can help.
Yeah, and when it comes to, regardless if it's men or women, what a lot of times happen in our community is going to the hair salon and the barbershop.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where you go hang around with your homeboys playing PlayStation, and that's when you actually start talking about your problems. But what can they do to help you if they can't even get themselves out of a paper bag, right? And so it has to get to the point where, okay, I love my community, but I might need to step outside of my community and gain some help. And it's okay to understand that you don't have all the answers. It's okay to know that your friends don't have all the answers. Yeah. But if you take the opportunity and actually go sit down and have a conversation with someone, myself or someone who may be that you feel more comfortable with, and just express what's going on. That person may have the expertise to help you get to the destination that you're trying to get to. But you would rather keep your pride and stay in this rut for however many years it's going to be. And then a aha moment comes, and then you're finally out. Well, you could have fixed this 4 years ago. right? You could have acknowledged this problem 4 years ago, but you
Now you
chose.
got 40 more problems.
Yeah, right.
And-
And
but
so
yeah,
that's
that's
what's
how-
happening in our community. A lot of people are just ignoring the behavior, trying to mask it with something else: alcohol, drugs, sex. Social media,
Yeah.
having a whole bunch of jobs, thinking that's gonna help it. No, baby, mental health not going away. It's gonna still be there. Those issues gonna still be there. Money can't make it go away. Think about it. So many celebrities are battling with mental health problems, and they got more money than we can probably count. That ain't working. So you still have to acknowledge the problem. What is the root cause of why you're behaving the way that you're behaving? And do you really want to change it? If you don't, continue going on with your life, but then also acknowledge the fact that there is help out here for you. You're just choosing not to take it.
Right. And then making it so, I think I always take, concern with pop psychology, so because everybody feels informed because of social media. And unfortunately, that leads people down various pathways if you don't have proper, guidance or clinical guidelines to go by, you'll take something from a 15-second, 30-second reel or TikTok video and apply it to you, and now you walking around with a quasi psychological label thinking like, I got something wrong with me. And you done took on all these behaviors and these attributes, and you're just having a problem in living. It's just a moment. It's just a moment. You're okay. And being able to just like create that space for people to say it's okay to have a bad day. I don't come from the school of thought that I pathologize emotions. You should feel what you feel what you feel, process what you feel, get through how you feel. Now if it's sitting with you and it's lingering on you, then let's talk about it. But you should have your emotions, because emotions allow you to be human. That is who you are. You are not designed to be robotic and lacking of emotion. So being able to create these communities, because I think I was sharing with you earlier, like there's not a lot of clinicians, whether if across the gamut, there is a lack of licensed clinicians. So we have to somehow leverage the clinicians we have to create more space for others to be able to access mental health and support. And this is a perfect platform for it.
Yep.
I was gonna say that. So can we talk about that, like resources for people? Because everybody may not have the insurance or the coverage or whatever. I may think like, I don't have $1 million to go, whatever, and I really want to get myself checked out. What are some places and things that people can?
So here in the Houston area, for sure, there's so many different mental health agencies, and one of them is the Harris Center for Mental Health and IDD. That's our mental health authority that we have for Harris County. They have it in every aspect, regardless if you are a 2-year-old child or if you all the way in the prison system or in the jail system here, that they can be able to assist you. And it's really income based. So if you have no income, you get free. And so, but you have to go. And there's clinics all over Houston. You also have it where you can go to, if you need resources for like homelessness or substance abuse, they have mental health resources in those communities as well. Now, the law enforcement, because of what has been passed down from Austin, law enforcement agencies have a mental health professional either in the car with them or have access to be able to get a mental health professional on an iPad to be able to assist you if you get pulled over by the cops. You can request for a mental health unit to show up. If someone in your family is battling with mental health concerns, you can call 911 and say, I need a mental health unit to show up. And regardless if that person's going to be on the iPad or they're going to be in the car with that officer. And so there's so many different resources that we have now within the Houston, Harris County area. It's about that people are just not using them, right? And so, we have so many different resources for free that you can gain access. You just have to, just like they pick up their phone for anything else, Google it. And then you'll be able to see. But the main one here in the Mental Health Authority is the Harris Center.
So even if you think about, let's say the person has resources, say they, but life is life, right? So I got bills. I'm in peak adulthood. I'm adulting out here in these streets. I got adult bills for my adult paycheck, but I still want to access mental health services. And I approach and like, how do I have that conversation? You may want to start and say, hey, you know what, here's my situation, because a clinician doesn't know your situation until you tell them. So they may be able to offer a cash rate. They may be able to offer a sliding scale rate. They may be able to offer things that meet you where you are. But until you actually have that conversation, you won't know. you may look at their website and be like, okay, well, this is their billable rate, this is what they charge. But until you pick up that phone and call them and say, hey, this is my specific situation. Do you have anything, as I would really like to see you?
Yeah, and then you have to also think about making sure, just like you search for a car, you need to search for a therapist. Search for a clinician that's going to be able to fit your needs, right? If you need someone more prom and prepper, and you could find somebody like that. If you need someone who's more laid back, then find someone like that. When it comes to our culture, it's big, but it's small.
Yes.
Right? And so you still have to be mindful of what type of person of color therapist or clinician that you desire to have. And so just do your research, because everyone that is a clinician or have the credentials may not fit your need at that particular moment.
You think about Black, we're not monolithic.
Not
All
at
of
all.
us, we just sit and had a whole conversation about our Black experiences before this, and it was like, yeah, how I approach mental health will be very different than someone else who has the same credentialing that I have. And I think that, but again, it's all about cultural competence. And I tell people, like, regardless of where you come at it, are you willing to meet your client where they need you to be? And that's the empathy part about it. That's what, being able to reach down and say, okay, this isn't my experience, but I can get down there in the mud with you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But as a clinician, that's what we should be doing. It's like, yes, I can recognize that I don't own the Black experience, and I always say that, like, yes, I own my little piece of the Black experience because that's what it was. But all the rest of it, like, no, I'm still learning. I mean, so I may be confronted with an experience that I had no idea. I've never seen. I've never, never had anybody, go through. But I'm willing to learn, and I think that if you meet a clinician that is willing to learn and willing to get in there and do the work with you and guide you through this process, I think it's a beautiful thing, and that creates that solid alliance.
And it's fun too.
And it's fun.
It's
yes.
really fun.
Oh,
Just see somebody come in one way and leave out completely different. You're like, wow, just because I asked you a whole bunch of questions that you never even thought about. Right?
That's what I was gonna say. What is therapy? Just what you said.
It's a conversation, just like we having right now. We just having conversation.
Yeah.
Of course, we are trained to ask certain questions in the way that we ask the question, so we can kind of dig a little bit deeper to what's the problem to be able to help and assist you. But it's really just having a conversation. I have so much fun with my clients. We have so much fun. They come in thinking one way, and I'm like, it's probably because, we ask questions like, well, I never thought about it like that. I'm like, yeah. They have what Oprah called the aha moment all the time. And so it's really of just allowing for someone to be comfortable with no judgment.
No.
I don't care what you tell me. I probably didn't heard it all, saw it all, and I'm okay with it. Now tell me what's going on. And they just release. They know that now I had to walk around, be this macho person, have this mask on for the world to see. But now I'm able to be just comfortable. I'm like, you know what? I am not okay. Yeah. My life is effed up. This person's done this to me. This is how I feel. It may not be a mental health diagnosis. It may just be relationship problems. It may be mama problems. It may be I just don't like myself today. I want to commit suicide. I want to commit homicide. It could be all these things going on with somebody, and just having that person that's not going to judge you for how you feel. That's what therapy is about. It's really just being your authentic self and discovering what is your truth. That's it.
And then being able to create, again, like to your point, is like creating that space. Being able to have someone to hold space for you. Like as you are, you've been carrying it, you say, look, hand me that. You can only that. I got that for you. Pass it along. I am here to, I always say that if you think about this metaphor or analogy, about like being a spotter in a gym. You got this heavy weight. You've been pumping it out, but you're on that last set, and you about to drop that weight on your chest, and your spotter comes in and say, "Whoop, I got it for you, bro. I got you. I'm holding on. We gonna get through this together." That's where your therapist comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where you should be having that type of relationship. But therapy is relationship. Therapy is very, very much symbiotic to a degree. Not Of course, you want to make sure you're not doing countertransference, but but it happens. But but ideally, you want to be in that space with them, and as much as they need you to be there. But then also knowing that when it's time, as a therapist, I was like, I like to graduate my people up out of therapy. Therapy is not forever. Therapy is like, hey, you know what? I done seen you enough. You got
Yeah.
this, because we're going to get to a place where I know you got it.
Yeah.
And you know you got it. You might just be afraid to step out there, and I might just be like, you know what? Hey, how about us? Let's adjust the frequency of these visits to like once a month.
Holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Holding them accountable. You came in with this problem. You've reached the goal of the
Yep.
problem. Okay, let's watch you flourish. You can come back and doing maintenance.
Yep.
Come back once a month. Come back every 3 months. But let's go and flourish and take the tools that you have been given and go implement them into your everyday life.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the part that really brings us joy, is seeing someone have now the tools to now go on and carry on with their life. Now, some life continues to happen, so they may have to come back for a totally different other problem. But it's okay, because we can take whatever this problem is, implement it in a different way to fix it for that problem, and then send you back out. If you hear people say, Lord, I've been in therapy for 25 years, somebody just collecting a check.
They are.
Because you should not be in therapy
That's correct.
for 25 years. It should be whatever the problem is, acknowledge it, have a treatment plan for that problem, close out that book. Now, if another problem arises, okay, now we need to create a whole new treatment plan for this particular problem, right? And so that's how you be able to hold someone accountable. But at the same time, humans are humans. Therapists are humans.
Yes.
So you may have people that take it and run with it and have people in therapy for very long. But if you have someone who really value their ethics, it's not going to be a long term. It may be a year, it may be 2, depends on what the problem is. But it shouldn't be where it's
You spent your whole life.
with one
Right.
person,
No.
right? Because maybe that person is not a good fit.
Right.
Maybe that person does not have the tools to be able to help you. If you come to me and tell me, well, Danielle, I want to talk to you about a kid. Well, I don't handle children. I love them, but that's not my specialty. But if you talk about grief, or if you talk about relationship, or you talk about life after diagnosis, life after incarceration, I'm your girl, right? But don't come over here talking about, well, my 5-year-old is having, I'm gonna have to give you a referral.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Pass you right on to somebody else. So that making sure you have that really good fit is the very key part.
If Danny with your 5-year-old, y'all know she wasn't the one collecting the check on you.
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna pass them right on to somebody else. It's okay, above me. Mm-mm.
But I think that's true. I mean, like, we think about, like, as a therapist, we have to check ourselves a lot, because yes, you might say, oh, this is one of my favorite clients, but you realize as a therapist that I am no longer making an impact in their space, their mental health. So as a therapist, you say, look, I need to start looking at resources which I can pass a baton to and say, hey, but I'm going to do a warm handoff. I'm not going to just send you out in the world and say, you know what, well wishes, here's a list. I'm going to call that person and say, hey, I have a client, that, I think might be a good fit. You have availability, and establish that rapport. Doing that handoff also helps, create the continuity of care that we need.
Yeah.
But, to your point about treatment plans, when you think about, we have goals, we know. So one of my questions in that first session is, how do you know that this concern has been resolved? You have to tell me that in your own words, because if you can articulate what a solution with success looks like, then we can work towards it, because I know exactly what you see in your head, and I can navigate how to get there.
Yeah. And then so it sounds like you're a solution-focused therapist, are you? So I'm a solution-focused therapist, right? I'm person-centered, solution-focused. What that means is, you tell me the problem, I'm going to work towards to get you to that goal to fix that problem, right? Then I'm also person-centered. I'm going to allow for you to guide me. You're going to take the driver's seat to be able to get to that location and that goal. And so when it comes to that, it's also understanding some people don't want to resolve the problem. And us as counselors and therapists, we're going to be able to pick up on that. Some people just want to come and complain and never change their behaviors. And that is okay. But we have to hold them accountable and let them understand, we understand you and we see you.
Yep.
So this is what it's going to be. If you okay with being in this pit, be comfortable and figure out how you're going to be comfortable in this pit, and quit making excuses for why you're in the pit, because we're giving you the tools to climb out of it. You don't want to take the ladder. And so understanding that, yes, people do come to counseling for the right reasons, and you have some people that come because they don't have nobody else to talk to, because they've burnt their resources. We're calling their friends like, hey, Donnie, this girl still cheating on me. And I ain't never, but this same conversation gonna come up every single time, and there's gonna be no change of behavior. So eventually you're gonna stop answering the phone. So they're gonna reach out to us, and now we're gonna hold them accountable because we're not their friend. right?
correct.
We are not their friend at all. So we have to say and do certain things, not only because of our morals and our values, but at the same time, we want the best for our client.
And we can, again, it's all about accountability. We're going to hold you to a standard. Once we set that standard, we're gonna go back. We'll reassess. I always say, for me, I'm reassessing every 3 to 4 sessions. I'm saying, hey, are you getting what you need from this therapeutic experience? And I want you to be able to articulate that. And I always say, look, you can tell me no. But that informs me of what I need to adjust.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be able to sense, like, okay, we might be, at a plateau, at a stalemate. So now I'm going to try something different. Let's figure out what works for you. So you're person-centered, solutions-focused. I tend to lean into more of your narrative therapy, and then also, of course, the cognitive behavioral pieces of it, because I believe it starts in the mind and then, trickles down. But narrative therapy primarily from the perspective of, we have created these narratives in our head, these stories. We don't wrote these whole stories out. We don't say, like, hey, I'm gonna be a successful this or that, blah blah blah. I'm gonna make $1 million by 20, and when that don't happen, your world comes crashing down, and the reality sets in that this is not my life.
Yep.
So it's putting the pen or the pencil back in their hand and saying, hey, rewrite your story. You own it.
Yeah. I love that. You should do that.
Yeah.
That was fucking great, man. Abe, y'all give it up, Abe. That was great, man. This whole thing has been great, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, man.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all want to give y'all social media and everything out before we close out?
Sure. So you can check me out on The Weekend Therapist on Instagram and also Facebook.
So I am Danny Love Truth on Instagram, and my website, if you want therapy, is neverwalkalone.us.
There it is. I'm Donnie Houston. It's Donnie Houston Podcast. We're out of here.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston Podcast, man.
Oh, yeah.